What's up, guys? It is the Bad Wolf. Good to see you. As always, I am your main man, the international man of mystery, man in black. Well, more like brown today, I guess. Um, Smoked almond, shall we say? Mocha, the myth, the legend, the whatever I was sent here to do, guy, Smiley. What is this particular video about? It is about public law. Let's take a look at public law. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, subscribe. Check me out on Black Site 32 for all the goodies. And let's get into it. Okay. What is public law?
Public law is a branch of law that governs how people interact with public bodies, such as governments, and how these bodies operate. Public law aims to ensure that public bodies act lawfully, fairly.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm noticing something right out of the gate here. One, I didn't hear them say anything about private administration. Private citizen is private. A national is private. A non-resident is private. They're talking about public bodies. So if they're administrating public law that governs how people, and we know that people can either be a person or a thing, a human, a natural one, or a legal, but how that interacts with a public body, the government. So let's go on. Let's keep listening to what they're saying here.
Fairly and rationally, and that they respect the human rights of those affected by their actions. He also seeks to prevent public bodies from abusing their power. Public law includes constitutional law.
Ooh, constitutional law, meaning the superior law of the land over all other. So there's lots of different types of law. The constitutional law is a superior law. However, constitutional law will not interfere with private law unless somebody's being deprived of their rights or being hurt. Public law comes from constitutional law, ergo, public law came from the private and cannot be more powerful than the creator, which is the constitutional law, which was created then by the people in the private. But if you operate as a public person, you're on the bottom of the totem pole.
Law, administrative law, tax law, criminal law, and procedural law. It also covers how people interact with other organizations, such as those in education, healthcare, immigration, and the justice system.
Let's go.
Public laws are different from private laws, which are passed to meet the needs of specific.
Give it to me, baby. Uh-huh, uh-huh. What did she say? Public laws are different from private laws. Public laws are different from private laws.
Specific individuals or groups. Public laws are designed to affect the general public.
So you must be then considered part of the general public as a resident, a resident. Reside and enter. You resided, you left the side of the Constitution for the United States of America and became part of the general public. Hi, general public, to those whom in which it applies.
Public and become part of the U.S. Code.
Oh, so public laws are designed to affect the general public. So you waived your rights as a private citizen, an individual, and you joined as a resident, a resident of the state of whatever, which is also part of the other state of whatever's, which then operates under public law, sanctioned and watched over by the federal government. So you became a member of theirs. This is depicted by your name in all capitalized letters, capitis diminutio maxima, or conspicuous format in the UCC book. And you then became part of the U.S. Code. These are why, if you are going to attack, or I shouldn't say attack, how about rebut, a public or private person can use the U.S. codes, but they are generally for governing over public people. But they're also there to ensure, what did they say up here? To ensure that these public bodies act lawfully and fairly, so that they can't take away your rights, your enumerated rights, your enumerated rights and your unenumerated rights, your constitutional rights and law. They put the code in place to protect you and also to guide. But let's keep going. Give it to me, baby.
Code, while private laws do not.
Private laws do not. Private laws do not. Let's take a look at public law through Wikipedia. See how Wikipedia likes to be underneath my my videos, trying to call me in sovereign S, which is defamation of character Wikipedia and a suable offense Wikipedia. And I can sue Wikipedia and anybody who decides to place an ad purposefully under my videos for such. Let's keep going. So let's hear what they have to say.
Public law is the part of law that governs relations and affairs between legal persons and a government.
Whoa, stop the press. Stop the press. Stop the press. Stop the press. Who is that? Vicky Vale. Vicky Vale. I like Batman. What just happened there? What was just said? Between a legal person and a government. Why would they say that? Because your all capitalized name and your name in upper and lowercase lettering represents a legal or legalized person. All capitalized letters, 100% a legal person. Upper and lowercase, meaning you are mixed between the two. They do not have full jurisdiction, but they know that you are the representer or the representation or the represented version of your all capitalized name. See, they can't deal and never, ever, 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 ever put your name in all lowercase lettering, because they cannot control, they cannot summon, they cannot will the private state citizen, the national. You are their boss in the private. But for the love of God, don't think you're going to walk into a court and just drop that little bit and think you're going to get anywhere, because there's a process to it. But that you are on the right page with that information. Some people will know how to use it. The average person will not know how to use that. They will laugh you out of court because you're not. There's things you have to do properly. Just saying that is not going to get you the win. There's a procedure to this. That's why we're successful. We've been 95% successful with our court cases. I don't need to put them on here one by one. The proof is in the pudding. The people have won using this information and have used my help. They know what it is. Plus, as a good form, you don't rub their face in it. I'm not here to stop their business or take away their livelihood per se. I'm just trying to make sure that when they do their livelihood, that they're doing it in accordance to their own laws and the supreme law of this land, Constitution, Supreme Court, Federal Court, and by the love of God, the ultimate law of this universe in existence, which is God's law. That's it. They said between a legal person and these governments or municipalities, the federal government is the leading authority in law. They are lawful. That means superior law, actual real law. The last line, the first line and the last line. So what are the states in them then doing with legal persons? Well, they created a membership that you belong to as a resident and a U.S. citizen, a member of the District of Columbia for tax purposes. And as a member of theirs, you've been putting everything into that legal name. So they have jurisdiction to charge you and do these things and to blah, blah, blah. Now, that doesn't mean as a private person that you can just ignore all those things. You have to uncontract from a lot of those things if you choose to, or take control over your straw man properly. But at the end of the day, you can just stop using those things the proper ways and then operate in the private, create new private vehicles, private trust, private business, private whatever else. Or not. It's up to you. I don't care. I'm gonna do what I do. Carry on, Jeeves. All right. So, but right here, public law is the part of law that governs relations and affairs between legal persons and government. Now, let's take a look at the term legal persons so we can have those individuals out there. We'll call them the anti-bad wolfers or the anti-wolves, the sheep and the sheeple out there who do the biddings like little biatches of these municipalities in the negative ways. The other people who are doing it the right way, appreciate you guys. Keep doing your job. I know it's not easy, but thank you. So let's see what the term legal person is, because whoa, Wolf, that just means you're doing things in the legal area and you're a person. Okay, let's take a look. And I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to have it read.
Business entity redirects here.
So a business entity redirects here. This is how they start this off. Okay, let's keep going.
Concept in computer science, see business object. Business administration. Management of a business.
Come on, get over here.
Show. In law, a legal person is any person or thing, Contents.
My bad.
In law, a legal person is any person or thing, less ambiguously, any legal entity, 1, 2, that can do the things a human person is usually able.
Notice how they say later on, a human person.
Able to do in law, such as enter into contracts, sue and be sued, own property, and so on. 3, 4, 5. The reason for the term legal person is that some legal persons are not people. Companies and corporations, i.e., business entities, are persons legally speaking. They can legally do most of the things an ordinary person can do.
So now you understand. They cannot control the human person because that would be slavery. And if they force you to do something without money, compensation, that is peonage, another federal offense. So who they're referring to in these things are legal persons. They're looking at you as a business. But we'll don't worry, we'll cover back up here underneath person. Okay.
Do, but they are not people in a literal sense, human beings. There are therefore two kinds of legal entities, human and non-human. In law, a human person is called a natural person.
So if I see something and you're not saying I'm a natural person, I am going to assume that the word person means a business entity. Because they're telling you right here, there's two types of legal entities, meaning, and let's say this correctly, there are two types of entities that can have legal under distinctions. In law, okay, so inside of the law, really law, not at law, in the law, so we're in it, a human being is called a natural person. So if you're not referring to me in any document as a natural person, and you're saying, and they just have a document that says this person must appear. Well, let me break it back down. This person, okay, you're not saying natural person, you're just saying person. So it's kind of like in Brazil, they don't call a Brazil nut in Brazil. They just call it a nut. Why? Because you're in their jurisdiction. So if you're looking at a ticket and it's a summons for summoning the dead or an entity, a legal entity, or a demon or beast from the ether, and you're just saying person, which is in the commercial juridical world, artificial, then you're talking about a Brazil nut not being called a Brazil nut, but just a nut. So they're not going to call you a natural person, and they don't have to say you're a juridical person because it's already assumed, it's implied. And if you don't make the distinction or call them out for these terms, then you are what they say you are. If you are what they say you are, you're a juridical person. So let's keep going. So we now know that if they're going to refer to you, they have to have the word natural person in there. If not, and they're doing commerce, which all of this is commerce, banking, commercial, for profit, public administration, then they're talking about a legal person, a business entity. Let's keep going. It'll prove my point. 2 more seconds.
Person, sometimes also a physical person, and a non-human person is called a juridical person.
So a non-human person, a business, a legal, is called a juridical person.
Person, sometimes also a juristic, artificial, legal.
Legal name. Why do you think they ask you for your legal name on the document? They want you to sign or autograph as the living you, so you form joinder as the surety, the responsible party, typically physically and financially, and mentally, and spiritually, and emotionally, on those documents. Legal name.
Legal or fictitious person.
Fictitious, fake.
Person, Latin, persona ficta.
Fake persona, Latin. Personality, TV personalities, entertainment personalities. They're putting on a persona. The Badwolf is a persona. It's not really me. It is a persona. It is a artificial creation of my mind that I act and operate as that fictitious entity. Alter ego, multiple legal personality disorders, pretending to be something you're not, mental health delusion. Once again, I've always told you guys I'm a madman in the box, right?
Ficta. Juridical persons are entities such as corporations, firms, in some jurisdictions, and many government agencies. They are treated in law as if they were persons. 4, 6, 7. While natural persons acquire legal personality naturally, simply by being born, juridical persons must have legal personality conferred on them by some unnatural, legal process, and it is for this reason that they are sometimes called artificial persons. In the most common case, incorporating a business, legal personality is usually acquired by registration with a government agency set up for the purpose. In other cases, it may be by primary legislation. An example is the Charity Commission in the UK. 8. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 16 advocates for the provision of legal identity for all, including birth registration by 2030 as part of the 2030 Agenda. 9. As legal personality is a prerequisite to legal capacity, the ability of any legal person to amend, i.e., enter into, transfer, etc., rights and obligations. It is a prerequisite for an international organization to be able to sign international treaties in its own name. The term legal person can be ambiguous because it is often used as a synonym of terms that refer only to non-human legal entities, specifically in contradistinction to natural person.
Contradistinction, contrary and distinct to a natural person. You've been running a, in my best Morpheus voice, you've been running a legal person business, Neo. They gave you a business trust to run that you've been thinking was you. Did you not know that your living natural body is different than that of a legal on paper entity and jurisdiction? All right. So we could go through the whole history of public law, blah, 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 public law in civil law, different things, and common law jurisdictions. But looky here. We also talk about constitutional law. I like how they say theoretical distinction between private and public law. It's simple. Public law is general for everybody who's out there in general, and then there's private, your own or your own little group. So they've created their own public law, and we're utilizing them. We can go between the public side and the private side. I mean, anybody want to disagree with University of Minnesota? Public and private laws right here. Or how about Tarleton Law Library? Public laws and statutes, federal legislative history and research on it. Telling me there's no such thing as private law. It's stupid. Congress, statutes at large, and public laws. The statutes at large is the permanent collection of all laws, both public and private enacted. So right here. Now, it doesn't mean you can't create your own private laws, but they're saying they have a basic private law database. But because I know they like to watch my channel, let's go over to Cornell Law EDU. Hey guys, how you guys doing? So let's see what they have to say.
Public. 1. The body politic, or the people.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not the face. What's the face? What did they start off as? The body politic. And where's the body politic located? Centrally, the District of Columbia. Under UCC 9-307, location of the debtor, letter H, I believe. The United States is in the District of Columbia. So it's a political subdivision, it's a political corporation. And we don't own the District of Columbia. So to me, that would seem to be foreign, but yet using our names. That would be like me going over to I don't know, Russia, and then adopting the name, Alec Stroganowski or something like that. You don't really look Russian, but you speak the language. That's actually one of the languages I don't. I only know a couple words. But your name is Russian. You move like a Russian. Да, Nosvidanya. Yeah, must be Russian. Well, it seems like that's what we've been doing to their public laws. Hmm. Hmm. The body politic. Let's go back. Let's go back. Having a little too much fun over here. The public is the body politic. Politics is political. But let's go on and see if they give us any more good information here.
People of a state.
Or the people of a state, meaning you all belong to a group, not the well, in this case, yes, you could belong to the organic state, But this is the inorganic, the corporation, or it could be a nation or a municipality. So they have to throw in all the other variants, but notice how they start off with the body politic. They have to throw their stuff out there first. Look at us, look at us, look at us. Let's keep going.
Nation or municipality. The word derives from the Latin publicus, meaning pertaining to the people, state, or community.
But that could also be private. You can have a private version of all of these. And here's how you also know that this is private, because not just anybody can join the political parties, right? Not just everybody can join your state, right? They don't get all the rights and benefits, the free things. Not everybody can just join our nation. Not everybody can join the municipality. You have to have requirements. So that means it's freaking private. However, it's so big and so general that it's called the public. And it got its power from the private. So I'm telling you guys don't understand the power of the private. Private is a showstopper.
Community. 2. Under the authority of the government or belonging and available to the people.
Whoa. So they're saying that under the authority of the government came this body politic in the public. Our government sanctioned it. Why? Why would they do that? Because they also allow you to be in the public or stay in the private. It's just business, people. We're just doing business. It's all commerce.
People, not private.
Oh, can't touch the private. Those things are not available. Those public things are not available to a private person. However, we all know that you can resident. I'm sorry, resident. You can jump over there. You can be in either or, but you can't be in both at the exact same time.
Private. It may refer to an entity, agency, or activity. This distinction comes up in the context of public and private schools, public and private utilities, public and private hospitals, public and private lands, and public and private roads.
Did you hear that?
For example,
we have a right to our private lands or land to be made private. So is our house. Your house is not considered private because it is in your publicly registered name. Public and private roads. There are private roads, private highways, private whatever out there, but then there are the public ones that private and public people can use.
Example, in California versus San Luis Obispo Sportsmen's Association, the California Supreme Court interpreted public lands in the state constitution section relating to public fishing to mean state-owned land, the use of which by the state is also compatible with use by the public. And that.
Did you hear that? When they want to say, "Oh, this is state property," you can't be doing this on the roads, or you can't come on this lake unless all the people there, it's a truly private lake or whatever else. It is part of the public. We can use this. Now, I won't get into specific details and little ins and outs, but you get what we're saying here.
That only property which is being used for a special purpose that is incompatible with its use by the public, for example, lands used for prisons or mental institutions, does not fall within the scope of this constitutional provision.
Why? Why not? If they used our money, why can't we just walk in there and talk to some prisoners or whoever else? Why? Why can't we just walk in and do whatever we want to do? Because those are specific use, not like the parks and the lakes. Those are general use. Jails and mental places and things like that, the police station, are specific use. Those are not general public areas. We do not have jurisdiction there directly, but the government, their municipality and the government do. Those are specific use, and because those are keyword, specific use means private. So I love it when an officer loses their battle to me, and goes, well, private, but yet his home is private, police station is private. So then why don't you respect my right as a private traveler? Oh, because you're told not to by certain people, which is going to get you guys sued. You might lose your house or your child's bank accounts. Oh, that's been done before, not by me. I usually let you guys off pretty easily. But some of the people I've worked for, not pretty. So I won't mention this person's name. We'll call him BF. Hi, James. My case in this particular state got dismissed. I wanted to thank you for your help, and I appreciate what you are doing for the people of this country. You are making a difference. Thank you, B. Oh, and I also want to thank Ramen out there once again. Ramen, you are my top dog, man. You always sent me a copy of his case, looks like, or something. I'll check it out later. I don't want to do it right now. I don't know why people doubt me. There's a reason why judges, at least especially the first one, literally asked me if I would join them. Do you guys have any idea what huge compliment that is? I've not heard not one single other guru say that. And I'm not a guru, I'm just a guy. Just a wolf that's bad sometimes, depending on your perspective or perception. Because I get it. The whole system itself is not bad, people. It's not. As somebody who used to think that and really wanted to like see it all burn, I get it. It's business. There are a number of people doing horrible business to us in there. But that's like if you date, you know, a sister, another sister, or a mom, all in the same family, right? Proverbially speaking. And the one sister is just trash. That doesn't mean the rest of them are. That doesn't mean the whole family's trash. It means you had a bad experience. It means you got fooled, you got duped. Because there are some people out there who specializing in fooling and duping people. And shame on them. See, one of the reasons when I was, a young lad, and my mom, who, my father was never around, and she had a handful on her hands, let me tell you. But in her attempts at helping me to become a man, which I know some people out there would say, "Oh, a woman can't make a man." Well, it to agree, a girl or a full size girl cannot, from my perspective, make a man, and nor should she. But it takes a man or it takes a woman to help polish that man into a better man. If you see what I did there. But here's the thing, too. It also takes a man to help a woman become the best version of a woman. Until then, there's a whole bunch of full size boys out there, meaning they're full size, but they talk like they're a man, but they're really not. Fooling girls, because you can't fool a woman, you can't fool a man, into opportunities and things, we'll just say. And vice versa. There are some full size females or full size girls out there. See, being a man or a woman is a mentality. You've gone through things. You don't play any more games. You know that you're not perfect. You're not trying to argue or yell anymore. If you're still doing those things or you're triggered by what I say, obviously you're not healed. So instead of bothering me about it, go get healed first. Now I'm sorry if that does trigger hurt some people's feelings out there, but it's a fact. And if it does trigger you, then you're not healed. You just proved my point. If it triggers you a little bit, but you go, you know what, he's right. Yeah, I'm gonna be better. Then that's what it's all about. Because being an actual woman and an actual man is the upper echelon of being a male or female. You don't get the title because you just want to take it. I'm sorry, I don't fall into delusion like that. If you want to pretend to be a unicorn or a Bigfoot or a cat, you do whatever you want to do. If I choose to take part in your delusion, then I will. You guys want to choose to take part in my delusion of being the bad wolf, then I appreciate that. But I don't actually think I'm a wolf. The wolf is a mindset. It is that anybody can accept the mind and the persona of a wolf to not take crap and to fight for yourselves and not be a sheep, or in this case, a legal person. All right, guys, that's it. That's a little bit on public law. Now, understand that just mentioning, well, I'm operating in private law and you can't touch me, I'm reading public law, that does not alleviate you from crime or criminal activity or denying somebody of their rights and liberties and freedoms. And if you're endangering public safety, speeding around, guess what? You are residing, because you decided you were going to reside in your act of endangering the public, and you brought yourself into their jurisdiction. Otherwise, a police officer by law has no right to pull you over because you have a private plate. Now, no plate, yes, because you could be a citizen in distress. And it's an unregistered, it's like a boat with that's sailing on the water with no flag, which is why your house, your plate, your documents, and whatever else that you are trying to say that are truly yours in private should have your family logo, crest, insignia, thumbprint, or whatever else on it. Those are your vessels. All vessels in the maritime jurisdiction should have a flag, a jurisdictional indicator on it. Where's yours?